Hey Canucks fans, what, if anything, do you expect out of Loui Eriksson tonight? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter, I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram, I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Monday, October the 28th. It's a game day, the Vancouver Canucks host the Florida Panthers. I am not going tonight, but the Emos will be well represented as my son Sean will be going to the game with his girlfriend Fernanda. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited for them to watch a decent game between two decent teams. We know that the Canucks are 6-3-1. They have 13 points in their first 10 games. Florida comes in with a very, very similar record. They are 5-2-4. So in 11 games, they have 14 points. So 14 points for Florida, 13 points for Vancouver. Talking about the strength in divisions, with their 14 points, Florida is third in the Atlantic Division. And then with Vancouver's 13 points, they're actually tied for fifth. So between fifth and sixth, they're tied for fifth in the Pacific Division, but they have games in hand on everyone in the division except for Arizona. Tonight, for tonight's game, I guess the biggest, in the most interesting point, the biggest point of intrigue will be to see what Loui Eriksson does. As I talked about yesterday, Loui Eriksson will likely draw into the lineup tonight on the fourth line to play with Jay Beagle and Tim Schaller to take the place of Tyler Mott, who's out for at least 1 or 2 weeks with a lower body injury. So let's talk about Loui Eriksson. Basically, my question to you is, what do you expect from him? And I guess a bigger overarching question is, how do you feel about him overall? So what do we expect from him? We know that he's a good penalty killer. So as Tyler Mott was a penalty killer as well, Eriksson will likely just slide into Tyler Mott's position to play with Brandon Sutter. So it'll be Eriksson and Sutter likely on the penalty kill. He's okay for him, 5-on-5. He's okay when I say that he doesn't give up. Like, he's a good, responsible defensive player, but he doesn't add a lot on the offensive side. And it looks like he's not the fastest skater, so sometimes it looks like he's not trying, but I just think he's simply not a fast skater. But when you're getting paid $6 million, that's a problem. And I guess I'm not going to rehash the whole thing, but we know that Loui Eriksson is in the fourth year of a 6-year contract that paid him $6 million. So $6 million at 6 years, that's $36 million, of course. And Loui Eriksson was part of that. All those guys that signed, I think it was the summer of 2016 on July 1st, the Apostles, the Baccas, the Nielsen's. There's a bunch of contracts there that were handed out, six of them. 6 or 7 of them for all 5, 6, 7 years, all for $6.5 million. So Eriksson's not alone, is my point. But we're not going to talk about those other guys because I can't remember all of them right now. But I do know it was probably the worst day in free agent history, cumulative signings on one day. So when it comes to Loui Eriksson, what do you expect? Do you just want him to be a solid penalty killer? Do you want him to be a solid fourth liner? Do you want him to score goals? Do you think he'll score goals? Let's be realistic. But I think overall, in the bigger picture, what do you think is going to happen? And obviously, it's very, very tough to move his contract. You'd have to add in sweeteners, and not just a sweetener. You probably have to add in the whole Sunday. That was the worst analogy ever. But you know what I mean. I don't know what it's going to take. I think the Canucks tried to do that over the summer. We had heard rumors that as Ottawa needed to get to the salary cap floor, that maybe they were interested. That didn't happen. Maybe Ottawa's still interested. They're short on forwards. All their guys are getting hurt. But Loui Eriksson, I think they tried to move him, but they couldn't. They tried to package him, but they couldn't. They haven't really thought about burying him in the minors because, it's one thing to put the body down there, but that's $6 million when already Sven Baertschi's down there and you're paying $3 million in Luongo's cap recapture penalty. I think there's a small one for Ryan Spooner. So you don't want all this dead money floating around. So the Canucks are in a tough place. So do you blame Jim Benning because for that horrible signing on July 1st, 2016? Do you blame Loui Eriksson for his what might seem like indifferent play? Or do you blame them equally? Or do you not blame them at all and just say it's a tough situation? Would really be interested in, I think I know what you're going to say, but I'd really be interested in what you have to say. I don't think anyone's going to blame Travis Green for either playing him or not playing him. He's in a tough position. Actually, I think about Travis Green's in a really tough position because he knows that there's a guy with his heavy money and his heavy contract, but you're trying to put the best lineup together to win. So I don't know if there's any pressure there may or may not be from the higher ups to play this guy. I don't know, but we know that Loui Eriksson is going to play tonight. So I would love to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on him? What do you expect from him tonight? And what are your thoughts on him and the situation overall? Do you anticipate a buyout? Do you anticipate a trade? Do you anticipate him going down to the minors? I know there's some salary cap implications. I know there's some bonus implications. Won't get into it in today's video, but overall, just want to get your thoughts on Loui Eriksson. The other interesting thing and I talked about yesterday, because they sent Gaudette down And then because if Mott gets injured, there was a 1 or 2 roster spots still open. Well, they filled one of those roster spots by bringing Adam Gaudette back up from Utica. And we know that Gaudette, because for the next handful of games at least, still, I think there's still 2 dozen games still, he doesn't require waivers. So you can bring him up and down without fear, at least for the next little while. Whereas if you brought up a Sven Berchi, for instance, if you bring him up and you don't play him, or he doesn't do well, or if he does really well, whatever it is, if you try and you have to have Sven Berchi clear waivers the next time. So let's say Berchi comes up, plays relatively well, but not enough to stick in the lineup. Let's say when Roussel gets back, then if you want to put Berchi back in Utica, then he'd have to clear waivers once again, and then you risk losing him for nothing. Of course, then you'd ask yourself why you sending him down in the first place. But what I'm trying to say is it's easier to bring Adam Gaudette up and down right now, even though Sven Berchi has been lighting it up down in the farm. So what that tells me is they're going to get Gaudette in the lineup eventually. Otherwise, why would they bother bringing him up? Maybe he gets a couple games soon. And I'm not going to presume it's Loui Eriksson that comes out. Maybe it's someone like Michael Furlan if he continues not to produce. Or maybe, who knows who it could be. But, let's worry about that when it comes. So I anticipate Loui Eriksson in tonight's lineup. I anticipate a decent game, Vancouver versus Florida. A lot of history between the two teams when it comes to trades and personnel, whatever it may be. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. I'll be watching the game from home because Sean's going tonight, but I'll be studying as I'm watching, but I'll be able to do a recap video pretty darn quick tonight after the game. So Canucks fans, would love to know your thoughts. Give me a score prediction for tonight's game, and talk to me about Loui Eriksson. How are your feelings? What are your feelings about him, both in the lineup tonight and in the big picture overall? Leave a comment below. I'd love to read, react, or reply as always. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Enjoy the day. God bless. Go Canucks, go.